All I want for Christmas is three things that I talked to Santa Claus about. One, for the Eagles to beat the Rams this week. Two, to be able to talk to the Bitter Birds in a Week 14 pick. And three, to get a prostate exam. And I'm going to have all three of those things. I'm Chris DeGrace, Sonny Eagle. This is Adrian Fedque. This is Week 14 picks. How you doing, boss?
I am doing fantastic. Three things I want for Christmas. Well, one, I'm greedy, so I want a Super Bowl trophy.
Absolutely.
Two, I want lots of peanut butter. I love peanut butter. Peanut butter and Reese's Cups. I love it. Number three, I don't know. Yeah, a nice little win this weekend would be nice, but I already want the Super Bowl, so I guess that comes with it.
It counts.
Number three, I'll just say, hey, I'm on the Sunny Eagles Pick'em Show, baby.
Beautiful. It's great to see you, man. It's been a while.
Yeah.
I've been working. You've been working. I've had shit going on, and you've had shit going on, so it's nice that we're able to get together during the holiday festivus and be able to talk some NFL football together.
Absolutely.
Beautiful. So we start off with a huge game between the Saints and the Falcons tonight. Falcons at home. Who do you got, Adrian?
Yeah, this is going to be two meetings that these teams play in a 3-week span. Atlanta needs this win. All of a sudden, they lose to Minnesota. Seattle wins, and now Atlanta is looking to be outside looking in the playoff picture. So this is a must-win for them. But if you look at the stats, New Orleans, number one in yards per carry, 5.0. Atlanta, number 27 in yards per carry allowed at 4.3. So on paper, it looks like a mismatch, but I think because Atlanta really, really needs this win, and the fact that Julio Jones is coming off a bummer of a game, I think he's going to respond. Marshawn Lattimore is going to be back, so that'll be a great matchup. But I got the Falcons at home. Not feeling great about it, but I got the Falcons at home, and then New Orleans is going to return the favor in a couple weeks.
Beautiful. The Falcons always seem to do better after Thanksgiving. They always seem to get hot after that Turkey Day. I mean, look at last year. What did they start off? They started off 0-4 or something like that. Then they were
6-4. Then they got really hot before the season.
They got really, really hot. Okay, but I mean, I love Julio Jones. He's probably my favorite receiver in the NFL ever. I mean, he's fantastic. I love him. I always talk about him. But the Saints running game is the reason why I'm picking the Saints this week. Between Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram, those two guys are combining to do crazy things. I mean, what does Kamara have? 1,100 scrimmage yards and 11 touchdowns as a rookie right now. He's playing phenomenal football. And if it's not Mark Ingram doing the business, it's Kamara. If it's not Kamara, Mark Ingram's coming in, and they have Drew Brees. How do you not just pick the Saints in this matchup? I like Atlanta. Obviously, they're playing the desperation, but I like the Saints, and I have to pick against you. Of course, that's how it has to be.
Well, I did beat you the last time
because that fucking Redskins game.
One differentiation.
Because the Redskins
beat the Seahawks.
Horrible. All right, now we're on to the blunt of the games, and my computer is being super slow. So we'll start with the native Buffalo Bills versus the Indianapolis Colts. I actually picked the Bills. I like the Bills this weekend. I think their defense is very, very good. I'm not big on the Jacoby Brissett hype train as everybody else. T.Y. Hilton, Dante Moncrief have slowed down in their production. You have Frank the Tank Gore, who's been there for 76 years, still doing his thing. But the Bills, they're still in the playoff hunt, and I like the Bills in this matchup at home to win, and I think Tyrod is going to have a great game. Hopefully, they're not stupid enough to start Nate Peterman.
Yeah, I like the Bills too. I don't like the way they've been playing, obviously. Lost 4 or 5, all of a sudden now out of the playoff picture. But you have the Colts coming into town. This is a game where you can kind of rewrite the ship. So I say the Bills win it, and there's nothing really more to say.
No, absolutely not. All right, we're on to the Bears and the Bengals, 1 o'clock. I like the Cincinnati Bengals coming off a very, very just another close loss against that in that brutal body bag game on Monday. I don't know if you watched it, but that was horrible. I mean, that was ridiculous. But the Bears, they're struggling right now. I mean, Mitch Trubisky, the turd, as I like to call him. I don't like Chicago right now. I mean, even if they have Tariq Cohen and Jordan Howard, you can see what a good rush defense can do against them. And I like the Bengals. I mean, A.J. Green balled out. You still have Brandon LaFell. You still have Andy Dalton, who's playing subpar football. But I like the Bengals in this matchup.
Yeah, Cincinnati's been playing a little bit better lately. Joe Mixon looked good on Monday night until he got hurt. Well, actually, the last game was when he looked good. But I like the Bengals because I don't like the way the other team looks. So I'm taking the Bengals. This is another just take the Bengals, take the whole team, move on.
Beautiful. Next up, we have the Packers and Browns, and from what I'm hearing, you're picking the Browns in this matchup, so I have to pick the Packers in this matchup. The Packers are looking very, very well right now, even without Aaron Rodgers. And I like what they're doing right now. That Jamal Williams kid is going – I mean, the past 3 games, he's had three really good games. I love Devontae Adams. I mean, you still have Randall Cobb there. They look pretty good, and the Browns just stink. So I'm taking the Packers.
I've got some logic behind this Browns pick. So they're number 2 in the NFL in terms of yards per carry allowed. And Green Bay, without Aaron Rodgers, they've been very conservative offensively, running the football, short passes. So I think they can limit them on the defensive side. And here's where the X factor comes in.
Oh, here he comes.
Josh Gordon.
I knew it. I knew it.
This Green Bay defense is not very good. Josh Gordon, just throw him the ball. As long as he's sober on Sunday, he'll get over 100 yards.
I don't know how much ESPN radio you listen to, but I don't know if you listened. What the hell is his name? The guy, the guy that has the father, the Spanish guy with the old guy.
Oh, Dan Le Batard.
Yeah, Dan Le Batard show. So they were talking about Josh Gordon today and how he went bonkers when he was hammered, and even when he was sober, he still went for what? What did he go for last week? Like 4 receptions for like 70 yards or something?
Something yards or something?
So he's a great football player. I mean, Josh Gordon is very, very good at his position. And if he just had a good quarterback, I mean, this kid can do some special things. But I can see where you pick the Browns. I can absolutely see it.
Here's Kaiser isn't like a great quarterback, but he does have a great arm. And if you just uncork a couple deep balls and just let Gordon go up and get it, I think that's what they could do. I mean, it was funny because when I made this pick with the Sports Fury on the show that I was on, I originally picked Green Bay, and then I was just like in the middle of it. You know what? I'm taking Cleveland. So that's what I did. And I also got Josh Gordon starting on my fantasy playoffs this week. How about a bold move there?
That's bold. One of my biggest bold moves of my fantasy was taking David Njoku as my starting tight end, and I'm pissed because he's actually lighting it up, but I dropped him weeks ago, and now the kid's lighting it up. It doesn't make any sense, but that's fantasy football.
So that's why you got to get your prostate exam.
All right, up next we have a very, very good matchup in the Raiders and Chiefs. Chiefs being at home. Who do you like?
Yeah, Kansas City, I don't like the way they've been playing, obviously, losing 5 of 6, 4 in a row overall. But also don't like the way the Raiders look. All right, so here's kind of what I'm seeing with the Chiefs. So teams are basically stacking the box on Kareem Hunt. I actually have a stat right here. So Hunt averaged 5.72 yards before contact in his first 3 games, just 1.43 since week 5. So what does that statistic tell you? That tells you the teams are stacking the box and they're making Alex Smith beat them. So Alex did a great job the first couple of weeks, but hasn't been pushing the ball as much down the field recently until they played the Jets. So that's what's going on in Kansas City. I do like them to win this game because I don't like the Raiders that much either. I don't think Jack Del Rio's doing a good job. So I think they bounce back, but I think at the end the Chargers are the team that's going to win this division.
Absolutely. I like the Chargers too. In this matchup, where I would have picked the Raiders. I would have, but without Michael Crabtree, and who knows what Amari Cooper's status is every single week.
Yeah.
Always seems to get hurt. And just when you thought a guy like Jared Cook, who was in one of my leagues for fantasy, I thought No, there's nobody else to throw the ball to. So Jared Cook should be the guy to step up, and he ended up doing absolutely nothing. So the Raiders literally have nothing. I mean, Marshawn is he's there, but he's not the guy that they were hoping to be. And the Chiefs, I mean, then again, I love Alex Smith. I love Tyreek Hill. Alex Smith is playing beyond what I thought he was going to be playing. And obviously we both love Andy Reid. There's no doubt in there. But Kareem Hunt has been shut down. There's 100%. People have figured him out. But at the end of the day, I like the Chiefs in this matchup because I think the Tyreek Hill, Alex Smith combination is going to be too much for that Raiders defense.
Okay. I like it.
Beautiful. Now we're on to the next shit bowl game, Cowboys and Giants. I don't really want to talk about this. Disgusting. Makes me want to vomit my last week's Jack Daniels I drank. I think the Cowboys stink more than the Giants just because I like the Giants more because I'm from New York. I'm taking the Giants because I think Orleans Darkwa is going to have a fantastic game. I do like Orleans Darkwa a lot. Evan Ingram's been balling. For some reason, this kid comes out of nowhere. And Eli Manning is starting. They were smart. They cleaned house. They cleaned their prostate out. And then here we go. The Giants all of a sudden, I guarantee they start winning games now for some reason because of all this. And they're going to fuck up their draft pick next year. And then when they do pick, they're going to take a fucking another tight end. That's what they're going to do. That's what just the Giants do every year. They fuck it up.
It's funny because I've been joking around. I'm like, oh, great. So now they got rid of their coach. and now the Eagles have to play the Giants where they're going to be motivated now. But I still don't think they're a very good team, though. So that's the thing because of all the injuries. They've been decimated. So I will take the Cowboys here.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't worry about it.
How dare you? They can ruin our playoff chances. They can win out, and we lose out.
The Cowboys are done. I'm not.
How dare you?
I'm not afraid of them.
How dare you? Alfred Morris.
They're not winning out.
Good. Next up, I don't even really give a shit about the next game either. The Lions and Buccaneers.
Yeah.
Ugh. How could you? Who wants to watch this team? I don't even think the Bucs want to watch their team play. I like the Lions in this matchup. The Buccaneers stink. They got the fucking hard knocks job, and they all became big. Jameis Winston's eating his fucking fingers on the sideline. He got hurt. Doug Martin come back from suspension. Doesn't do anything with his life. They don't know what they're doing. It's a mess in Tampa Bay. But on the other hand, Matthew Stafford. He's still slinging it. Marvin Jones still balling. Golden Tate's fantastic. And when Theo Riddick is healthy, he looks pretty good. When Amir Abdul is healthy, he looks pretty good. I like the Lions' defense better than the Buccaneers' defense, so I'm taking the Lions.
Yeah, here's the problem with the Bucs. They don't pressure the quarterback, and they also have a bad secondary. So that is a recipe for disaster. And I think that's the big reason why they've been such a disappointment this year.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So who do you got? You're taking the Lions?
Oh yeah, I said the Lions.
I know. Just in case when I beat you, you got to tell me to go back.
Last time.
Up next we have a very good matchup in the Vikings and Panthers.
That is a good one.
Panthers at home. Who do you like, FedQ?
Yeah, all right. So logic behind this one. Vikings, number 2 in the NFL in terms of rush attempts. So what does that mean? That means that they've been running the ball effectively and setting it up for Case Keenum. And I think this is a big reason why Case Keenum has been effective. A lot of people looking at his QBR, give me his QBR stuff, great. It kind of reminds me of Dak Prescott from last year. Establish the running game, and you're conservative with Case Keenum because they've been hitting the flats, and then when they're establishing the running game, they'll hit you with play action, and they'll cross with either Diggs or Thielen, and the other thing they like to do is the post corner. So that's what they like to do. Now, you look at Carolina's side of the ball, defensive side, Thomas Davis, Luke Kuechly, Shaq Thompson, those linebackers, that defensive line, they haven't always been consistent this year stopping the run, but they've been better lately. And I think if you shut down Latavius Murray and Jerick McKinnon and make Case Keenum throw the ball, I think that's when you get the deer in headlights look. Mm-hmm. That Skip Bayless likes to say. So I actually like Carolina in this game. And, Minnesota, if they win this game, though, they got some cupcakes coming up. Cincinnati, Green Bay, and Chicago, I believe. So if Minnesota wins this game, they may very likely get the number 1 seed.
Absolutely. I also did take the Panthers in this matchup. I love the thing about the Vikings to me is that they get a lot of yak yards. Adam Thielen, Case Keenum throws a lot of like butters, just cross little slants and everything, and then they just go. They have the ability to run after the catch, and Latavius Murray is able to do that after he breaks through. But I don't think they're going to be able to do that against the Carolina's front four. I mean, Luke Kuechly alone is an animal on that. I mean, like I said, I do like the Vikings. I mean, their defense is great. I love Xavier Rhodes. I love Eric Kendricks and everything like that. But I don't think that those guys aren't going to be able to contain Cam Newton. I think Cam Newton's going to run all over the Vikings defense because Christian McCaffrey is just not – I don't think Christian McCaffrey's doing what they wanted him to do. And I like the Panthers in this matchup based on their defense going up against the Vikings offense, like you said. So we're on the same page there. Beautiful. We have 49ers and the Texans.
Oh, God. A lot of Tinder games this week. Like left.
Last time I picked the one of my really, really good friends is a huge 49ers fan. I don't understand why he is. So, and the last time I picked the 49ers, they lost. So I'm taking the Texans. I mean, at least if you're going to look at both of these teams, at least look at the team that has better players. I mean, you have guys like Lamar Miller, DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, those two guys alone are fantastic at their position. And I wish Will Fuller was in because I loved Will Fuller. Will Fuller was having a great year. I mean, what did he have? Like in 4 games, he had like 5 touchdowns or something like that. The kid was going nuts. But I think that had something to do with Deshaun Watson when he was there. But Tom Savage is a bad quarterback. I personally don't think that Jimmy Garoppolo is a good quarterback. Pierre Garçon's on IR for them. They have nobody to throw the ball to. Carlos Hyde's not doing very, very well. I like the Texans in this matchup just because it's the home game.
Yeah, I like the Texans as well. I do disagree, though, on Jimmy. I kind of like Jimmy Garoppolo a little bit. Just a little bit, though. Not like crazy.
Just a little bit.
I like him, though. And I'm curious to see how he plays because the Texans' defense without Watt and Merciless, they can be had. So I'm curious to see if he can have, a kind of a breakout game, so to speak. But I like the Texans at home just because they're home and the Niners stink.
Yeah, and I do like Jadeveon Clowney. I think that kid is an absolute monster. Like that kid's otherworldly. It's ridiculous. What do we have next? The Jets and the Broncos. So this is I'm taking the Jets. I think I'm going to ride the Jets train for a long time for this year because I picked against the Jets a lot, and the Broncos just stink.
But Denver looks real bad right now.
Real bad. And I think
they are a train wreck.
Train wreck.
They've given up on the season.
Yeah.
Take the Jets. This is.
I'm taking the Jets. Josh McCown is one of the journeymen that's actually doing very, very well this year. And Robbie Anderson's been doing nuts. And the Jermaine Kearse move, Jermaine Kearse is having a great year too.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But I'm taking the Jets as long as you are taking them too. What we got? Titans and Cardinals. Another these games are shit this week, kid. But I'm taking the Titans. I love the Titans in this matchup. The Cardinals stink. I don't care who they have. I like the Titans. I love Delaney Walker. He's one of my favorite players, one of my favorite tight ends. I love Marcus Mariota, even though he's having a bad year. The matchup just seems to be in the Titans' favor. And I think Derrick Henry is going to be taking over for DeMarco at this point.
Yeah, I like the Titans too. I don't like the way they've looked at times this year. Mm-hmm. They've looked kind of sloppy. They've had some disgusting wins against the Browns. They won 12-9.
Mariota throws a lot of interceptions.
Yeah, they had a 3-point win against – I forget who it was, but they just haven't looked good this year. No. But I like them in this game because Arizona just isn't good. They're not very good. So
without David Johnson.
Yeah, the Titans win it on the road. Maybe they struggle a little bit, but they still win it.
Yep. Beautiful. Redskins and the Chargers. I like the Chargers in this matchup. And then not even because the Redskins stink. It's just because the Chargers have Phillip Rivers, Melvin Gordon. I mean, Austin Eckler, who's been coming out. I mean, Keenan Allen, who's been balling. They have a better coaching staff. Everything about the Chargers right now looks better than the Redskins. And the Chargers, their record doesn't show what they truly are. And I like the Chargers a lot in this matchup at home. I think the Redskins are just going to go downhill from here.
Yeah, the law of averages has come into play for the Chargers because they had all those games early in the year when they were close but not winning them at the end because their field goal kicker wasn't making field goals. Well, that field goal kicker is no longer there. His name was like Young Ho Kim.
Yeah, Young Yo Koo, the Asian guy, right?
Yeah. So they've replaced him. They got a new kicker named Travis Coons. Not that he's much better, but at least he's making kicks. So that Chargers defense is nasty. You got Joey Bosa, Melvin Ingram on the edges. Casey Hayward is a very underrated cornerback for them. Even though they lost Jason Verrett, he's been able to step up and be the number one guy for them. So Chargers, I look for them to keep winning. And,
They'll take the division.
Yeah, and the Redskins, they look like shit lately. So give me the Chargers.
Yep, absolutely. We'll save. We'll do the Eagles or Rams. Why not? Why not? We're both gonna pick the Eagles, I think, personally. But
yeah,
honestly, I think, and I don't know about you, but we, I don't know if you talked to Nitro Freak a lot, one of the guys of the Knights, but he made a statement. He said we haven't played against a mobile quarterback this year, and I mean Cam Newton's mobile, but like we realistically look at our schedule. We haven't played like a mobile quarterback, and Russell Wilson completely desecrated us. Like that was the reason. And Russell Wilson, if we would have just contained Russell Wilson, I mean, what is he, 90% of the offense? I think we would have had a chance to win the game. Aside from the bullshit plays and the bullshit calls and the forward lateral pass and all the other mistakes that we made, this is a different kind of game. Our defense is going up against a young offense, a young coach. I think that Jared Goff, he's obviously not a scrambler. He doesn't really have that many weapons to throw to now. Robert Woods being hurt, and Sammy Watkins he's a glass cannon. He always is. He was in Buffalo. I watched a lot of him. Todd Gurley is honestly one of my things to worry about, but Jordan Howard statistically has better numbers than him, and we held him to 12 yards. I like us in this matchup a lot, and we came off a bad loss, so we're definitely going to bounce back, and it's going to be like a home game to us. I mean, I'm assuming that's what's going to happen, and I like the Eagles in this matchup.
Yeah, I like the Eagles too, and to comment on that Nitro Freak point, I get what he's saying because in that game they didn't have gap discipline, at least in the first half. Second half they got better, but the defense as a whole, I didn't think they were like awful. No. I mean, you held Seattle 24 points. Usually this season, if you hold an opponent 24 points, the offense has been able to score more than 24. So, and you look at it this too. If you look at most of the third downs that Seattle had, it was like 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, stuff like that. So defensively, you're ahead in the chains, and Russell Wilson was just making plays on third down.
He's a nutcase.
He was tremendous all night. So that's why I called my show Hat Tip, because Russ was just unbelievable. He had me in awe. He was that good. And Wentz, missed a couple throws, and that decided the game. It was 24-10, but I didn't think the score was as bad as it was. I thought the game was closer. And the Eagles lost. And because they lost 24-10, now a lot of people are freaking out. Mm-hmm. I think the Eagles are going to be fine. I think they're going to bounce back. The only worry of mine is actually Doug Peterson, and I just don't want to see him call a conservative game again.
No,
that's what I don't want to see. So I'm willing to give him a pass if he gets back to righting the ship. But the reason why I like the Eagles in this game, so the Rams are 30th in rush defense and yards per carry allowed with 4.7, and they really struggle defending the edges. So you look at this Eagles ground game. What's their bread and butter? Outside zone sweep plays. So Jay Ajayi, Corey Clement, I think those are the two to watch for. And Blunt will be running up the middle, but you got Aaron Donald in there, so that's going to be a little tough. But Jay Ajayi, Corey Clement, I think they're going to run the ball well. Wentz gets back on track. Eagles win it like 27-23.
Yeah, I also like the fact that – I definitely like the fact that if we do run the ball on the outside, which would be great, if we need to run the ball early in the game. I think every single game I like to run the ball early because it sets up that play action. And if you're setting up that play action, especially against teams that don't really know that it's coming, when you have a three-headed monster in Blunt, Ajayi and Corey Clement, even a great corner like Trumaine Johnson and them, when they see the play action, and you know what I mean, we have so many deep weapons. I mean, Aguilar looks so good, and who would have thought we'd be seeing Aguilar looks really, really good. And Alshon has definitely come along. I mean, Zach Ertz is finally playing all year-round ball. He's not Mr. December anymore. Zach Ertz looks like the guy that we can rely on. And, I mean, like I said in my last video, I mean, we have Wentz, Alshon, and Alshon, and Ertz, just like Russell Wilson had him, Baldwin, and Jimmy Graham. So that's where I like the three-headed. We have so many great weapons. It's just Doug Peterson. I didn't understand the play calling on the 4th and inches where he didn't go for it. When in any other situation you would go for it. I think that he was a little scared in this game. I think he was a little bit scared to call that.
Not a little. He was very scared.
I got to give him some benefit of the doubt. He's our head coach, for crying out loud. But he was definitely shaken up a little bit. It was tough. It was a tough game. But at the end of the day, I personally think that we have better offensive weapons, and I think our defense is better than both of them. So on paper, we look like we can win this game. And I think last week we could have won it too. It's just this is a different week. We're past that. The bah humbug is over. We're on to the Rams. And I think we're gonna win 30 to. Honestly, I see us win like 30-7. I don't see us.
Wow. Okay.
The only reason why I see anything happening is I see Todd Gurley getting a garbage time touchdown. I see us controlling the game the whole time.
Boom. I like that. To watch out for Gurley, it's actually coming out of the backfield, I think.
Yeah.
Catching passes.
Like you and Philly said about with Kendricks not being his true position.
Yeah.
And who knows how Joe Walker's health is this week. And you know, our linebacking is just it's bad right now. It is.
Yeah. Not good. Not good.
Beautiful. All right. Well, Seahawks and the Jaguars. I'm taking the Seahawks in this matchup because I'm going to take a guess that you're taking the Jaguars, but I like the Seahawks because, of course, the Seahawks always shoot up at the end of the year. That's what they do. They can go 0-8 and finish 8-8. That's just what the Seahawks do every single year with their type of guys. They just came off a great win. They're going into Jacksonville. Jacksonville is very young. Fournette has looked pretty wishy-washy here and there. Obviously, we don't like Seattle's secondary, but we like Seattle's front four. That front four is monstrous, and I really do think that they're going to contain the run game, and I think they're going to get after Bortles. I think Bortles is going to have that deer in headlight mentality, and I think guys like Jimmy Graham, Doug Baldwin, and Paul Richardson are going to ball against this team this weekend.
Yeah, I like Seattle too. They get blistering hot at this time of year. You're exactly right. And I think the other thing to keep in mind here too is this is what happened to the Eagles. The Eagles obviously get after the quarterback a lot, but well, you got to maintain gap discipline against Russell Wilson. So Jacksonville leads the NFL in sacks. Jacksonville is a team that doesn't play Seattle often, so they don't see Russell Wilson on a day-to-day basis or really ever, every 4 years. So I think because they're such an attack-minded defense, they're going to be overrunning their gaps. And I think that's what's going to set up Wilson to be successful. And that's why I have Seattle winning this game. I also think they can control Fournette with that front seven. And I don't think Blake Bortles is good enough, even against that depleted secondary, to beat him. So I got Seattle in this one.
The sleeper that the Jacksonville can win this week is Marquise Lee, who's been coming off. He's been having great games. That's the only way I would take Jacksonville if he can do anything. But at the end of the day, I'm taking the Seahawks.
Yep, same.
Beautiful. Ravens and Steelers. Oof, a big battle. I like the Ravens in this matchup. I think the Steelers have won a lot of close games this year, and I think the Ravens defense is very, very good. But I think what's going to come down to is the offense. I think Alex Collins, who's been coming along. I love Alex Collins. I think he's going to have a great game against these guys. I don't even know who's going to be in the game that day with all the suspensions. Who knows if Juju's going to be there? Who knows if what's the other guy's name? Boca or whatever? No, he was on the other team. I don't even know. There were so many suspensions from people getting thrown out last week. But all signs point to the Steelers winning this game with Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell, and Big Ben. But I think the Ravens, who are in the playoff hunt, this is a game they need to win. And I think the Ravens will come down, and I think it's going to be their offense this week, not their defense.
Wow, I thought I was going to be the only one to pick Baltimore. So I picked them too.
Beautiful.
But the reason why is I don't like the way the Steelers have looked recently. 3-point wins against the Packers, against the Colts, and there was another one, I believe.
The Bengals, they won by a field goal at the last second.
Yeah. And so I don't like the way they've looked recently, coupled with the fact that they play New England next week. Mm-hmm. So I think they're going to be looking ahead. And I like the way Baltimore's looking. You brought it up. Alex Collins has really turned it on for them. He's emerged as their leading a backfield guy. I like their defense too. They got smacked around earlier this season by Pittsburgh 26-9. So a little revenge too. Mm-hmm. I like Baltimore. And if they win, they can really kind of solidify a playoff spot there in the AFC.
Yeah, and Mike Wallace and Macklin. I mean, Mike Wallace has been doing very, very well as well. So, I mean, like I said, I think it's the offense this week. I don't think it's the defense. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game.
And we also don't know how Pittsburgh's going to respond after the Shazier thing. Like, sometimes with stuff like that, man, like, you just don't know how the team is going to be. They rally around him and come out hot, or they might come out really somber and not play well. Yeah,
I mean, I think I just read an update that says he's going in for back surgery. So, like, that's good. It takes a toll when it's your leading defensive guy. Like, it definitely, like, dampers, like, your whole mindset and your emotions, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
It sucks. It sucks. And we know the feeling in Philadelphia with all our injuries.
Yeah.
We know that.
Happened a lot this year, unfortunately.
Horrible. But on to the Monday night game. The big AFC East matchup between the Patriots and the Dolphins. I'm taking the Patriots. I'm riding the Patriots train. There's nothing these guys can't do. Julian Edelman doesn't matter. Okay? All these guys coming out, all these guys getting rid of LeGarrette Blount, doesn't matter. Signing a huge free agent and Mike Gillislee doesn't even see the field anymore. It doesn't matter to these guys. Bill Belichick can go on the street and pick up a bum in New York City and say, hey, we need you to start at left tackle this week. And the guy will do it, and he'll have the best week. The Patriots are just systematically a great team. They always seem to go far. They go deep. I mean, it has an account of being in a weak division. I mean, they're almost guaranteed 6 wins every year with the Dolphins, the Bills, and the Jets. But I like the Dolphins, but I don't like Jay Cutler. I mean, Jarvis Landry is very, very good. Kenny Stills, Devontae Parker, they're all great. I don't like their defense matched up against these guys. Even without Chris Hogan, Brandon Cooks is still there. It just doesn't matter for the Patriots. They always seem to find a way to win.
Yeah, give me the Patriots. Not much to be said about this one.
You can't. No matter what argument you have for the Dolphins, doesn't matter if they're playing the Patriots, they're gonna lose. Like the Patriots always seem to win.
There's nothing to be said about this one. Just take the Patriots, move on.
Beautiful. Well, that's everything. So we're not as close as we were last week. But last time we played, but we'll see
this time.
Beautiful. So I'm Krista Grace, the Sunny Eagle. This is the Bitter Birds and Adrian Fedke. We will see you next week. Adrian, thank you so much for coming on, taking time out of your busy day, and I hope to talk to you soon, sir.
Absolutely. Take care, guys.